Hello, this is Azrael, and thank you for tuning in to my channel. This evening we are going to be talking about astral travel, how to do it, what can stop you from doing it, and what are the dangers, if any. First, let's talk about things that can keep you from performing astral travel. The first of these things is fear. There are a lot of new feelings that you experience that can be quite terrifying. Some of these are sleep paralysis, where you are definitely awake but you can't move. You might not even be able to speak. Another thing would be rocking and violently shaking. This often happens when the spirit is detaching from the body, and you might feel like you are having a seizure. Okay, and other things, you might hear some loud noises that sound like roaring water or strong winds in your ear, and even a sudden feeling that you may have been hit softly with a full body tingling. And on some occasions, you may even hear voices or even see something in the room. This often is what scares people from practicing this in the first place, and where some of the legends of the old hag appears. Now, I will go ahead and let you know, when you perform astral travel, you will often encounter other astral travelers, people who are dreaming, and maybe even the deceased, as well as thought forms and maybe other kinds of spirits. Now, one other thing that often happens, especially with me, is bright flashing lights. Now, all of these things happened to me when I was a kid. Growing up in a Christian home, my mother convinced me that I was under psychic attack or a demonic attack. And I was convinced, and this actually set me back probably a decade or two in astral travel. Now, other less frightening things that can keep you from astral traveling is a lack of interest, because most people they get disinterested when things don't happen quickly. So if they don't get quick results, they tend to move on. And of course, self-doubt. Somehow you are the only one out of every living human being that cannot perform astral travel. But you must understand, we all leave our body when we sleep. This is a natural occurring thing. You do not have to be a talented psychic or a master magician to do this. This happens naturally. In fact, many people spontaneously do it. One of the main reasons why you might fail at astral travel is that you have not learned to catch yourself in that soft window between sleeping and being awake. Especially if you are too tired. If you lay down to try to perform astral travel and you are very sleepy, you're going to go straight from being awake to being asleep and bypass that little window. Now, let's go through some exercises that you can do every day when you are awake. First, let's try to train the brain into realizing that it is okay to see yourself, as one of the things that often catapult you back into your body is the sudden shock of seeing you laying down when you're standing. First, start off by looking at yourself in the mirror, looking straight into your eyes, into the reflection of your eyes. As you do this, try to project yourself, your consciousness, into your reflection. Try to see yourself as the reflection looking back at yourself. Now, your consciousness probably will not jump into the mirror, but this is teaching your brain that it is okay to see you yourself. Also, this exercise will also build clairvoyance, and I will talk to you guys about this in another video. But I digress. Back to the point. As you look into the mirror, into your eyes, and try to project your consciousness into the mirror, you will slowly begin to fall into a trance-like state as you stare. Do this for a few minutes, and then stop. Now, the second exercise. Find any small object. It could be a telephone, it could be a quarter, it could be anything. It could be a pencil, it could be a piece of fruit. Hold it in your hands and look at it. And then set it back on the counter or table in front of you. Close your eyes and try to see the apple in its most crisp detail, or whatever item you picked up. Try to feel the texture in your hand without actually holding the object. Try to hold this sensation of seeing and feeling the object as long as you can. Don't stop until you can almost feel it. And if you chose an item that could give off a sound, try to hear it. If it gave off a smell, like you picked up a scented candle, try to smell the candle. Try to get every aspect you can in your imagination as crystal clear as possible. This techniques actually help you when you leave the body to actually accept that though it's not real in the real world, like if you pick up a item that is astral, you'll be able to feel it, see it, smell it, all on the astral plane, which will make your experience more real. Now, when I say this, of course I believe this is real, but when you pick up an object in the astral plane that does not exist in the physical plane, you still have the physical senses. And now for the third uh, technique is self-affirmations. Constantly tell yourself that you are an astral traveler. You will succeed in your endeavors in doing these things. Tell yourself you leave your body all the time. And every night before you go to sleep, tell yourself you're going to catch yourself right before sleep and then succeed. Now, let's move on to the techniques. One of the best techniques that has worked for me is when I get perfectly relaxed and my brain is no longer trying to distract me by having overwhelming urges to scratch or rub my face. You know the drill. I I actually visualize myself leaving my body in the first person. In other words, I'm on my, say I'm on the bed or the couch, wherever I'm trying this. I visualize myself leaving the body and walking around the house. Uh, this is an extension of one of the techniques we worked earlier to help train us. So I will walk through the house, feel the walls, feel the carpet, try to get as much detail out of my environment as possible. Right when I start feeling myself to start to fall asleep, I bring my attention back to my body. And then right before I fall asleep, I try to do this same exercise again. Only this time, instead of as I visualize, I actually try to physically do this without moving my body. And basically, you slip right out if done correctly, if you catch yourself within that small window of awake and sleep. These have been some of the best techniques for me, and hopefully with a little practice you'll see some results within a few weeks. Now, some tips and words of comfort on astral travel. Regardless of popular belief, it is not dangerous. You leave your body every night. Every single night you leave your body. Your conscious mind is just not conscious. So so these people, regardless, again, with popular belief where, oh, if you leave your body, you're going to get possessed or something bad is going to happen to you. This is false. Okay? If you get attacked in the middle of the night by some kind of evil entity, it would happen to you if you was leaving your body or not. You leave your body every time you fall asleep. If you want to add protection before you do this for comfort, that's fine too. However, on the astral plane, the instant you feel afraid, you are catapulted back to your body. So don't worry about that. Now, I also would not attempt this after a heavy meal. When you eat a heavy meal, you tend to get very sleepy. And of course, What's the worst enemy about astral travel practitioners? Being too sleepy and falling asleep while you're trying to leave. We are also creatures of habit. So if you're beginning this, you probably don't want to try to do this in the bed where you sleep, because like I said, we are creatures of habit, and you see the bed, you're probably wanting to go to sleep, and that's what your brain expects. So start, if you're going to be doing this, try it on the couch, a cot, or a recliner. If you still want to perform astral travel, yet you're too tired, one of the techniques I use is I will go to bed, set the alarm for a couple of hours into the middle of the night, and I wake up with the alarm, go use the restroom, go get a glass of water, do something to slightly wake myself up. Then I go back to bed and I start the visualizations again. And one more tidbit. For some reason, astral travel seems to happen better when you are lying on your back, especially if you are a beginner. The common theory is because when you lay on your side, you become too comfortable and you go to sleep too quickly. So, you guys try this and let me know what happens in the comment section. I might do more videos on this topic. If you do like this information, please like and subscribe. And thank you for listening.